Imagine going on a date where you talk about their ex, their dog, their job, and somehow their favorite topic is still themselves. You've just shared a delightful anecdote about how they once rescued a kitten from a tree, yet the conversation swings back to their weekend yoga retreat for the third time. It's like a comedy routine where only one person is laughing. While it's amusing, this self-absorption could be a peek behind the curtain at something more troubling. So, if your date talks more about themselves than a celebrity on a talk show, you might want to watch out for the signs we're diving into next. Before we accuse our date of being a narcissist for loving their mirror too much, let's define what narcissism really is. Narcissism, in its clinical essence, is a personality disorder characterized by a towering sense of self-importance, an insatiable appetite for admiration, and a notable lack of empathy for others. Picture someone who believes they're the main character in every scenario, the sun in a revolving solar system of lesser stars. This isn't just about someone who enjoys a few too many selfies or spends a bit too long in front of the mirror. No, a true narcissist craves admiration like a plant craves sunlight, except they don't wilt without it. They might just make sure everyone else does. They often see themselves as superior, deserving of special treatment, and expect others to constantly acknowledge their greatness. This grandiosity can be as subtle as a sneaky humble brag or as blatant as a parade in their honor down Main Street. Now that we know it's not just about taking too many selfies, let's spot how these traits might come alive in a relationship. Ever felt like you're the star of a romantic movie but it's only the first date? Picture this. You meet someone and suddenly it's an avalanche of affection. They shower you with compliments, gifts, and make grand plans for the future, all before you've even decided if you like them back. This is love bombing, a common maneuver in the narcissist's playbook. Imagine being bombarded with texts that read like love letters from a Victorian novel, or receiving bouquets bigger than your coffee table weekly. While it might feel exhilarating at first, it's often a strategy to manipulate. Narcissists use this intense affection to sweep you off your feet and gain your trust and affection quickly. But why the rush? It's about control. By overwhelming you with their love, they aim to fast-track the relationship to where they hold the reins. This can leave little room for you to assess their true intentions or to set your own pace. Remember, if the romance feels like it's on fast forward, hit pause and think, is it genuine or is it a charm offensive? Did they just refer to themselves as the best thing that will ever happen to you? Red flag alert. In the world of dating, encountering someone who seems a tad too impressed with their own reflection isn't just a minor hiccup. It's a marathon of red flags on a windy day. Picture this, you're sharing a quiet dinner and instead of discussing mutual interests, the conversation veers into a monologue about their unparalleled genius in the workplace, their unmatched skills in the kitchen, or their heroic deeds, like that time they rescued a cat from a tree and expected the town to throw a parade. This isn't just confidence, it's grandiosity. A narcissist often paints themselves as the protagonist in every tale, expecting others to marvel at their fabricated exploits. They don't just want applause, they expect a standing ovation for simply walking into a room. Remember, a relationship should be a partnership, not a fan club. If your partner's ego inflates faster than a party balloon, you might be dealing with grandiosity. So, you had a bad day at work, but somehow you ended up comforting them again? Let's dive into a classic red flag in relationships, a startling lack of empathy. Picture this scene, you're sharing how overwhelmed you feel, only to watch them scroll through their phone, utterly unfazed. Or perhaps every conversation magically redirects to their issues, their day, their life, as if your experiences are merely a backdrop to their dramatic soliloquy. Now imagine you're excited about a promotion, but rather than celebrating with you, they diminish your achievement, or worse, claim it stresses them because now they need to step up their game. It's like your happiness triggers their insecurity instead of joy. And let's not forget the times when you're visibly upset and all they muster up is an indifferent, "Oh, that's bad," before swiftly changing the topic to something about themselves. If sharing your feelings feels like talking to a brick wall, it might be a lack of empathy. Ever doubted your own memory because they insisted that never happened? Welcome to the disorienting world of gaslighting, a sinister form of manipulation often employed by narcissists to maintain control. Picture the scene. You're certain an event took place, but your partner flatly denies it, chipping away at your reality. But gaslighting is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's delve deeper into the murky waters of manipulative behavior. Imagine you're planning a night out with friends. A narcissist might first agree, but as the day approaches, they sow seeds of doubt. Are you sure you want to go out looking like that? Or they don't really want to see you. They're just being polite. These tactics aren't just mean-spirited. They're designed to isolate you and make you overly reliant on their approval. The truly cunning part, they'll often flip the script during confrontations, portraying themselves as the victim. This bewildering maze of accusations and denials leaves you second-guessing not just facts, but your feelings and sanity. If every argument ends with you questioning your sanity, you might be experiencing manipulation firsthand. They borrowed your car for a quick errand and returned it the next day without gas. Ah, the early days of a relationship where everything seems rosy until suddenly it's not. You see, narcissists have a peculiar way of testing waters. They push boundaries, subtly at first, then all at once. It's like they're conducting a little experiment. How much can they get away with before you snap? Imagine this. They ask to peek at your phone just out of curiosity, but what they're really doing is checking how much privacy you'll surrender, or perhaps they make plans for both of you without your input to see if you'll stand your ground or just go with the flow. These actions aren't just quirks or oddities, they're deliberate strategies. Narcissists test limits to establish control and see how much dominance they can exert over your life. It starts small, but it escalates. If they treat your boundaries like mere suggestions, it's time to reinforce those limits. Does your partner need more applause than a Broadway star after each accomplishment? Imagine this. They make breakfast, and suddenly, it's not just breakfast. It's a Michelin star-worthy event, and they eagerly await your glowing review. This isn't just about boosting their ego, it's a deep-seated need for validation that can often tip into the realm of the excessive. In relationships, such a need for constant praise might manifest in daily requests for reassurance about their appearance, decisions, or even mundane tasks like organizing a shelf. Did you see how I arranged the books by color? Isn't it brilliant? It's as though every minor achievement needs to be broadcasted on a loudspeaker and met with fanfare. This relentless pursuit of validation can be draining. It's not just about appreciating their efforts, it becomes a full-time job to keep their self-esteem afloat. And heaven forbid you forget to compliment them on their exceptional choice of Netflix movie for the evening. If you're expected to provide a standing ovation for everyday tasks, there might be a deeper issue at play. Why follow the rules when you can make your own, right? Well, that's their motto. Imagine a game where one player decides all the rules and those rules keep changing to suit them best. Sounds frustrating? That's a day in the life with a narcissist. They live in a world where regular norms and mutual agreements don't apply to them. Picture this, you're planning a weekend getaway. You suggest the seaside, they insist on the mountains, and without a blink start booking a chalet. In their universe, it's not about compromise or discussion. If you ever try to set your boundaries or assert your own needs, you might find them scoffed at or outright ignored. This entitlement extends to expecting you to prioritize their needs and whims over your own consistently. It's like being in a relationship with a monarch of a tiny, tyrannical kingdom where democracy is a myth. If it's their way or the highway, consider taking the next exit. Critique their cooking, you'd think you declared war. Now let's dive into the tempestuous waters of a narcissist's ability to handle criticism. Picture this. A casual remark about their oversalted pasta could spiral into a monologue about your lack of culinary expertise, or worse, an accusation of you never appreciating their efforts. Narcissists often wrap their self-esteem in an impenetrable armor of perceived perfection. Any attempt to dent this armor is met not with a nod, but a shield. The feedback, however constructive, is perceived as a personal attack, leading to defensive or even aggressive responses. Imagine suggesting a different way to park the car and suddenly you're navigating through a verbal storm about your supposedly abysmal driving skills. This behavior isn't just about being touchy, it's about an unstable self-image that depends heavily on external validation rather than self-reflection. The inability to dissociate self-worth from criticism means that even a whisper of disapproval can set off emotional fireworks. If a simple suggestion triggers World War III, there's a fragility there that needs addressing. One day you're the love of their life, the next you're just not trying hard enough. In the world of relationships, few things are as bewildering as the cycle of idealization and devaluation that often marks the presence of narcissism. Imagine this. On Monday, every text you send is met with heart emojis and declarations of undying love. Fast forward to Wednesday and suddenly you can't do anything right. The compliments have turned into critiques, and the pedestal they once put you on now seems to have vanished into thin air. This emotional roller coaster is no theme park ride, it's a calculated tactic. By swinging from excessive adoration to harsh criticism, a narcissist keeps their partner off balance and perpetually striving to recapture those fleeting moments of perfection. It's like being a chef in a five-star restaurant where the menu changes every few hours without notice, and you're always one dish away from a rave review or a scathing critique. If your relationship feels like a roller coaster, maybe it's time to get off the ride. Enjoying the insights? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. If you're finding these pointers illuminating, show some love to the channel, it helps a lot. Now back to spotting those red flags. Suddenly, your weekly coffee with friends is seen as unnecessary. Why might that be? In the intricate dance of a relationship, it's essential to keep in step with not just your partner, but also with those who've always had your back. However, a common maneuver by narcissists is to subtly cut you off from your support networks. They might start by questioning why you need to spend so much time with your friends or family, painting these gatherings in a negative light. Imagine this. Every time you plan a meetup, there's a sudden crisis or an emotional plea from your partner needing your undivided attention. Coincidence? Perhaps not. It's a strategic isolation tactic cleverly disguised. They may even escalate to outright demands for you to prioritize them over others, making you feel guilty for any external connections. This tactic isn't just about control, it's about creating an environment where they are your sole emotional lifeline. If you find your social circle mysteriously evaporating and it's not by your own choice, it's time to question why. Notice any of these signs popping up frequently in your relationship? Take a moment to reflect. It's about piecing together a puzzle where each piece represents a behavior that might have seemed insignificant at first. Remember that time when what should have been a two-way conversation turned into a monologue about their achievements? Or when empathy seemed to vanish just when you needed support the most? These moments are not just random occurrences, they're hints of a deeper pattern. Think about how often you felt sidelined for their need for admiration, or how your boundaries seem less respected as time goes on. It's like every time you bring up your feelings, they somehow twist the conversation to focus back on themselves. If these scenarios feel familiar, it's crucial to acknowledge this isn't just normal relationship turbulence. These are textbook signs of narcissistic behavior. Recognizing these patterns is more than just an exercise in awareness. It's about protecting your emotional well-being. Recognizing is the first step to addressing. Don't ignore the patterns. Identified more than a few signs? Here's what you can do next. When navigating the choppy waters of a relationship tinged with narcissism, the first lifeline is often professional help. Consulting with a therapist who specializes in narcissistic behavior can provide clarity and a game plan tailored to your specific circumstances. It's like having a navigator for the stormy seas of your personal life. Another crucial step is setting boundaries. It's akin to drawing a line in the sand, which might be tough, but it's essential. Ensure these boundaries are clear, firm, and non-negotiable. Think of it as setting the rules of engagement for your own peace of mind. In cases where the situation feels untenable, exiting the relationship might be the safest option. This decision, though difficult, should be executed with careful planning and support. It's not merely leaving, it's an act of reclaiming your autonomy. Remember, stepping back to assess your relationship is not just smart, it's necessary for your well-being. Thanks for sticking with us through this important journey. Remember, safeguarding your emotional health is crucial. Feel free to revisit any part of our discussion today to reinforce your understanding. Stay wise, stay informed, and above all, stay safe in your relationships. Cheerio. Savored this video, fancy another? Click the on-screen video for an even deeper dive into fresh territory. Your support is like a warm cuppa on a brisk day. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, ring that bell for the latest content. Cheers for watching.